Fabulous. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining me for another edition of our John R. Wood Christie's International Real Estate Office Hours. Today, as Mike and I were just chatting about, we're talking about best practices for enhancing your online presence. And this is really becoming, as we were saying, a more and more important part of your value prop, potentially one of the best and most important ways for you to market yourself. So we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can utilize Christie's to really kind of pump up and enhance your online presence. So that's with tools like See Social and Content Hub, some of the great creative studio social campaigns we have, digital and Facebook display ads. We have a couple of different ways you can use those things. And then also we're going to go through some of the top tips for online success. So I have some ideas to share with you that are less about Christie's, but more about kind of the basic things that you need to do or that you should be thinking about when you want to kind of clean up or really kind of boost your online presence, kind of overall online and also specifically in social media as well. And then we'll talk about some next steps, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. By the way, for those of you that I have not met, I'm Ann Colvin, Vice President of Affiliate Services for Christie's International Real Estate. I am your main contact here at CIRE for anything you need from this affiliation based in our Chicago headquarters, and happy to be with you again today. So let's start with why your online identity matters. Your online presence, as I mentioned, I think is one of the most important things that you have available to you when it comes to your brand marketing. And it's an exceptional opportunity for you to grow your business because you can sort of do it from your fingertips, from any of your devices, and you can instantly reach a much wider pool than you ever could have with any kind of print marketing or local marketing, right? So online marketing allows you to market your listings and promote your open houses. You have the opportunity to connect with your audience by really kind of featuring your own personality, right? And letting yourself shine in a way that is hard to do on maybe just a postcard. I think partnering with local businesses to increase your exposure to target audiences is another great way to kind of bump up your online identity. And being able to share your expertise on the market is a really important part of this as well, because again, you have an infinite opportunity here to reach more than just your sphere that you might be farming. This is really an opportunity to continue to grow and use that expertise as a kind of jumping off point, right? And then one of the things that we want to do here at Christie's is really provide you with the content that you need to highlight the global network you have behind you, the connections you have as a part of this network, and then also your expertise in the high-end market, in the luxury space, all of that provided by this affiliation. And we have a lot of content to help you kind of back that up as well. So all that to say that we understand too that managing your online presence, curating a great social media account, it takes a lot of time, but the impact can really be major. The audience that you can grow is really infinite. The kind of trickle down effect of what people are Googling after they meet with you, all of that stuff is super important, and it all is kind of cyclical, right? It's all coming back to itself, whether it's an online or in-person meeting that you're having. Your online presence is always going to come into play as a part of that. And I think I mentioned this already too, but really your online presence helps you with both broad and targeted reach. You can be super effective and very sort of pointed and specific with the kind of online marketing that you're doing, which is also incredibly cost effective versus some of the major print outreach that you may be considering. We know there are still a lot of clients who are very into print advertising, and that being in print may be important in specific markets, but I think overall we're really moving in a direction where your online presence is going to become the forefront, if it has not already, of your marketing efforts. So let's jump into some of the resources that we have available from Christie's International Real Estate that you can use to really help enhance your online presence. And the first one is See Social. If you've been on these webinars before, we talk about See Social a lot, but in my opinion, this is kind of one of the lowest hanging fruits that you can take advantage of as a part of this affiliation. It's something that everybody can use. You don't even have to have a listing, because all we're doing with C Social is providing you with a ton of really cool, interesting content from the Christie's real estate network and also from the auction house that you can put out on your social media channels to really bump up the content that you're offering, and also highlight the expertise, the network, the connections that you have behind you. So C Social is an app that you can download to your smartphone, and our marketing team is constantly updating it with a kind of curated list of content to showcase all the things I just mentioned. So you'll see here kind of a sampling of some of the content that we feature on C Social that you can easily just share directly to your social channels from this app. So that's things like significant sales at the auction house. When we have new stats or market reports that we release from the Christie's International Real Estate Network, we put those here. Whenever we have an expansion or a new affiliate that we announce, we have some great artwork that you can share with that. There was one just recently where our affiliate in Dallas has just recently expanded into Fort Worth, so we did a great push about that. So there's artwork there you can share for that. And also holiday and seasonal content as well. So you'll find a lot of that as well. So anytime there's a holiday, major or minor, we're typically putting together some really beautiful pieces that you can share out. So I think it's a great way to highlight, the international piece of things, the luxury piece of things, your connections to the auction house and content. It's also, I think, just a great way to kind of backfill, right? When you don't have a post and you know that it's been a while since you posted something, go to C Social, because we always have something that's cool and interesting and you can take advantage of it there. There are also some great co-branded templates in there too, so you can easily share a listing in a co-branded John R. Wood template as well, and you can do that directly to your accounts from C Social as well. So, as I mentioned, if you're running out of new content ideas, check C Social. I think it's great to post in between, your listing posts, maybe put in some C Social, maybe every X number of listing posts, maybe you put in one post from C Social. I think that's a great way to start kind of working in an international or kind of more global luxury aspect to your content in between all of the more local things that you're doing. Also, we have a lot of great hashtags that I would recommend using too. It's a great way to amplify the reach of your posts. So you can tag us, Christie, hashtag Christie's Real Estate, hashtag Christie's Homes, hashtag Luxury Real Estate is a great one to use, because that one is going to reach a huge kind of broader audience. And then also, if John R. Wood has a specific hashtag, that's a great one to consider as well, so that you're kind of covering all of your local and global bases. And then, excuse me, I've also included our 3 major handles here as well. So on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, you can follow us there. And then most importantly, if you have not downloaded C Social to your phone yet, you can do that either in the App Store on your Apple iPhone or in the Google Play Store. Just search for C-Social and it should look like what you see here. That's, of course, in the Apple Store. And then what you will also need to remember is your boomerang code. And I will bring this up again at the end of the presentation too, but the boomerang code is really important because this is a code that is specific for John R. Wood. So you're going to need this code for any of the co-branded content that is available in C Social, because that's going to ensure that it's co-branded for the proper brokerage. So make sure you put in that boomerang code after you've downloaded C Social. It's a free app. When you're setting it up, it will prompt you for that code, and that's what will co-brand it for John R. Wood for you. If you need those instructions again, I will send a copy of this presentation and the recording to Mike as well, so that you can refer to it later. But I will also bring up that boomerang code again at the end of the presentation as well. So Content Hub is another great, easy thing that we have available to you to help amplify your social media presence. So Content Hub is a central location for social media assets that we have available to you in platform. So instead of it being on your phone like C Social, where C Social is a dedicated app, Content Hub actually lives in platform. And it's a little bit more robust. There's a lot of opportunity here for you to take advantage of the kind of static content that we have in C Social, but also in Content Hub, you have the opportunity to share the luxury defined blog. So that's the blog on the Christie's International Real Estate website. So every time we have a new blog post, that will populate in Content Hub as a post that you can share out to your sphere. So that's really fun because it's digging a little deeper than just kind of one post that says, and now we're in Fort Worth, but this is going to be like 4 beautiful penthouses that have ocean views, and it's going to have some actual content behind it too. Your clients can click on it and click through to go back to the luxury defined blog. So it's kind of offering, I think, a little bit more depth of content. So that's where this differs from C Social. Also, Content Hub gives you the opportunity to share content that's being created by your brokerage as well. So John R. Wood has the opportunity to put content in here as well. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for social media assets, and it's a little bit more dynamic. So there's going to be a lot of the blog content. There's more video in here for you to share. And then a lot more kind of custom things when it comes to our statistics and market reports as well. So you'll find a kind of broader, more in-depth library here, but C Social is great for on the go because it's on your phone and it's super easy to use. So let me show you where to find Content Hub. And I think today it's particularly important because John R. Wood has just done a nice little facelift on your platform. So if you haven't been in platform in the last 24 hours, things are looking a little bit different here. This has all been kind of reimagined for you. So whatever we're talking about today that may live in platform, I'm going to show you where to find it because they have some new homes. So for Content Hub, you're going to find that under the new platform tools menu over here on the left-hand side. And when you click on Content Hub, it's going to take you here. You have the opportunity to search or also use some of the categories, formats, neighborhoods, et cetera, to really kind of dig in. So the more content that shows up in here, the harder it's going to be to find exactly what you're looking for. So I do encourage you to use the search bar, especially if there's something in particular that you're looking for, because that's a great way to kind of narrow it down. For our purposes today, I wanted to share a post from the Luxury Defined blog because it actually has a John R. Wood listing as the hero image there, which is kind of fun and great timing for us. So that's that image over there on the right-hand side, the elevated seascapes for luxury penthouses with waterfront views. So that was a recent post on the Luxury Defined blog. And if you click on it, it's going to give you the opportunity here to share it directly to your Facebook, directly to your LinkedIn feed. And hot tip, LinkedIn has actually been a really great place to share a lot of the Christie's content, specifically anything like that's an article or that is statistics or kind of market report driven. We've seen a lot of great engagement on that. So any of those things, great to share to your LinkedIn sphere because that is definitely a more kind of business and kind of content focused audience. And then the link. So that link on the other side, that's just going to give you a general link to this article. So if you want to share it to any other platform, if you want to include it in an e-newsletter or something, you can always just grab the link right from here as well. Excuse me. But if we click on Facebook, it's going to pop up a little window there where you can customize your own Facebook post. So you have the opportunity to, put in here whatever kind of message you want. I'm going to share it to my newsfeed and post to Facebook, and it's really easy. We can post it all right from here. And then when they click into that, it's going to take them directly to the Luxury Defined blog. It's just a great way for me to be able to share fun, interesting, relevant content to my sphere that's interested in real estate. Next up, Creative Studio social campaigns. So Creative Studio has a lot of stuff in it, and I think that what we often kind of automatically think of when we're talking about Creative Studio is brochures and postcards, right? We're thinking about like print documents and print marketing. But I would encourage you to check out C Social for social media templates as well, because there are a ton of them in there. There's a ton of great stuff that you can take advantage of there for any kind of social media post that you would like to create. And I went in there and had a lot of fun and started making posts for myself just to show you kind of the spectrum of different posts that you have available to you as a part of C Social, and they're super easy to take advantage of. So with C Social, you can create these really beautiful branded and co-branded posts for both your stories and also static social media posts as well. There are a ton of great property templates. You'll find tons of property templates. So anything, there's a lot that have the opportunity for quite a bit of text or a little bit of text with borders or no borders, really kind of anything to fit whatever your imagery is or whatever the look and feel is of your feed as well. And it's a great way for you to promote a new listing, a sold property. If you've got a price reduction or an open house, you can take advantage of all of those things by using the great templates that we have available in C Social. I think, again, this is another great way for you to highlight your expertise, right? It's so important for you to not just be saying, yes, I have a new property on the market. I mean, that's great. We love to hear that, but we also want you to be able to tell us a little bit more about what's happening in the market. Show us you're intelligent. Show us that you know what's going on. Show us that you can guide us through this kind of uncertain time in the real estate industry. That's super important. So beyond all of the property templates, we have a lot of great ones you can take advantage of that highlight, for instance, this one down here is a market update slide. So you have the opportunity to pop in the latest statistics and share those out to your clients as well. That's a great John R. Wood template that's available to you. There's also a testimonial template as well. So I think testimonials are a very important part of your business for a number of reasons, but this is a great way to really showcase those front and center and highlight, the great things that your clients have said about you, because what they have to say about you could potentially go a lot further than you showing, your own personal statistics of, how many listings you sold. Because if you've offered somebody a great experience and they would recommend you, that's huge. That's kind of not quantifiable in terms of, how good that can be for the growth of your business. And then you'll see too, I created a couple of home posts as well. So some posts here that I could use on my Facebook or Instagram feed, that I could use in my stories as well. So there's a lot of kind of fun and different ways that you can play around with this. And I mean, it took me maybe 10 minutes to create one of these posts. So it's very easy. It's super simple. Lots of different ways that you can really showcase your expertise. And then the other thing I would mention to you, and we've talked about these before, but I think it's worth mentioning again, is that there's also some great opportunities for doing some personal branding posts as well. So in addition to, showcasing and advertising your listings on your social feeds, I think that creating branded social content is a great way to engage with your followers, and also to kind of increase your following as well. So you can go in here, you can utilize your own photos. I also think that the stock imagery that we have available in Creative Studio is a really great thing to take advantage of if you wanted to do something that was more lifestyle driven and less property driven. And you'll see, like, that's what I did down at the bottom here when I decided to create my own little Where Luxury Lives story campaign. I went in and started finding imagery that I thought reflected, the Naples market that the Ann Colvin team works in, or that reflects the luxury point of view that I have as a member of Christie's International Real Estate, and created a series of posts that are all kind of focused around that brand imagery that I thought really reflected who I want to be as an agent. We also have this Welcome to Our World template, which is a great one as well. So if any of you are newer to John R. Wood, there's a lot of great kind of announcement posts and announcement templates as well that really can kind of tell your sphere that you are now with Christie's International Real Estate and with John R. Wood. So lots of great opportunities, I think, to utilize Creative Studio in whatever way that you want. I think that these in particular are some really good options. Again, if you don't have a listing right now, if you're looking to grow your following, if you're looking to maybe increase your price point, I think these are some really great ways to be constantly bumping up your social media presence and pushing that forward even when you don't have listings to share, right? So back in our new platform, Creative Studio is also under platform tools as well. There are a couple of Creative Studio options underneath the main Creative Studio dropdown. So you do have Creative Studio Resources, which is going to share some kind of how-to documents and videos with you. Creative Studio Pricing is going to show you excuse me, the list of pricing if you were going to print any items. But if you want to get right in and start creating things, click on Accessing Creative Studio, and that should single sign you on right into the Creative Studio portal. So this is going to take you out of platform and into Creative Studio. And you have a ton of templates here at your fingertips to take advantage of. I would point out that over here on the left-hand side, you can start to filter them down. I here did Instagram posts, but you also have the opportunity to just click on social media under asset type as well. And that will filter it down to give you just the templates that are available to you for your social media feed. And you can see right off the bat, there's tons here under Instagram, 67 alone. There's a lot of great templates that you can utilize for all different purposes, which is fantastic. So let's start by talking about a property template. So social listing post 1, if we wanted to use this template to create a beautiful post to promote one of our properties, you can do that. You just click right on it and click use template. And it's going to be really simple. It's just going to start pulling in your logos. And then for something like this, all you have to do is really customize the text at the top and customize the photo. And it's, I think, a good idea to kind of play around and see which photos look best in that template. But again, it only takes a couple minutes to put one of these together. You can also find all of your images if you've uploaded them in the My Images section over there on the left-hand side. So as you start to add images to Creative Studio, they will save into My Images folder, which is a great thing to do. And I would highly recommend that, especially if you have some things that you're always going to go back to, like maybe your headshot, or if you've got a team logo or something like that, make sure you're always kind of collecting those in their best high-res format and saving them in My Images, and then they're easy for you to just pull from as you continue to work in Creative Studio. But also as you start to upload property photos and things in here too, it will pull in here and you can have those at the ready as well. And then the other thing that I would mention, this one, I think, don't sleep on it. It's one of my favorite parts of Creative Studio is the stock images opportunity. So you have all of the stock images in the Bing search and in Unsplash. And Unsplash, I think, is my favorite for sure, to find beautiful imagery that's maybe not one of your listings, but something that is reflective of your market. Or when you can search for kind of anything here, and it's going to pull up a number of different images here. So I looked up luxury boat, for instance, and this is just a sampling of the images that it gave me. And you have access to all of these based on our relationship with Unsplash and with Mark, who runs C Social. So all of these are available to you to use in your social media campaigns. And so I had some fun playing around with these, landed on this one for my Where Luxury Lives campaign. And then once you're done with it, up there in the top right-hand corner, this is where you have the opportunity to save it or share it right to your social media. For these, you're not going to want to order prints, but share will give you the opportunity to share it right to your Facebook or your Instagram, for instance. You can also download just the image itself. You can do that with the download button here as well. And you can save these right to your computer if you would like to do it that way. But these will also all be saved in your Creative Studio account as well. So you can go back to them at a later date and edit them as well. So you can have a lot of fun in here. I think the message I would give you about Creative Studio is don't be overwhelmed by it. Give yourself a little bit of time, come in here and play around with it. And I think that once you start to get kind of comfortable with it, it's a really, really great tool. It has a lot of great content and great templates available. And I think you're kind of only limited by your own imagination, really, because a lot of these templates that I've played with here are things that I've kind of reimagined for myself. So this template, for instance, is technically supposed to be a property story. So, it's supposed to be like 123 Main Street with a property photo in the back here. I decided to take that and turn it into a brand campaign. And so you have a lot of opportunity here to really make these templates work for you in any way that you would like. But I think that you can have a lot of fun and do a lot here that can be really reflective of your brand in a way that goes beyond property promotion. Let's talk for a few minutes too about our digital advertising opportunities. So some of these are going to be a little bit more specific to advertising your properties, but I think it is worth mentioning because these are great online advertising opportunities. The one thing I would mention is the James Edition online exposure opportunities. This is a newer offering for us, and I know a lot of you have taken advantage of this year. So thank you to those of you that have. The deluxe package in particular has been very popular and sells out quite quickly, but the other opportunities I think are great because you have the option to really enhance your listings presence on James Edition, where you're already syndicating your properties, but you have the option to get kind of preferred placement for your property, either at the top of the listing, at the top of the search results page for that listing's location, and also for the deluxe package as the hero image on the top of the James Edition site as well. And then we also have our great digital and Facebook advertising opportunities as well. So these we're going to talk about, this is kind of the traditional way to use them, which is for property advertising. So you always have these at the ready. I think this is a great thing to keep in mind if you've got a property that you need to give some kind of instant advertising to, because these are available at any time and you can launch the campaigns essentially immediately. But these ad campaigns can either be run on different websites around the internet or specifically on Facebook, and they're going to target users who are in the market for real estate or who are in the market for luxury real estate or have expressed interest in it. When you create these ads, they will link back to the listing, to your listing on the Christie's International Real Estate website or to the URL of your choice. So if you've got like a trophy property that has its own dedicated URL or vanity website, you have the option to change that and have it link back to that site instead. You also are required to geo-target a minimum of 3 markets when you are setting these ads up as well. So when you're setting them up, if you have insights or ideas about what your feeder markets are for where you or this listing are located, I think those are great, kind of the first ones to go to. Typically, they say don't geo-target more than like 5 to 8 markets, because then it will kind of start to dilute who you're actually reaching with these ads. So I'd say be thoughtful, be specific, maybe keep it to that 3 to 5 range in terms of the markets that you're targeting, and that will be really a little bit more specific for you. As I mentioned, you can instantly create these, so you can go in and set one of these up and you can launch it today, or you could set it up and maybe it's not going to start until Monday. It's totally up to you when you want these to begin. There is also reporting available on these as well. Currently, you do have to request the reporting, but you can always come to me after one of your campaigns has completed running, and I can go to our vendor and get the report for you. It's a basic report, but if you do want to see the kind of views or clicks that it received, it will give you that information, and that's great, especially if you have a seller who wants to see those details too. So the pricing differs slightly between the digital ads and the Facebook ads. So for the digital, you have a 1 week or a 2 week option. 1 week, it's $99. 2 weeks, it's $179. For Facebook, it's $179 for 1 week. For the digital ads, it's going to require you to upload 2 photos, and that is because some of the websites that it's going to appear on, the ads are going to maybe show up in a banner versus as like a billboard size. And so some of those things are going to require different images or 2 images. So that's why you're going to have 2 at the ready for the digital ads. So just keep that in mind. Excuse me. So I wanted to also remind you that a while ago, we in this group figured out that you can also repurpose the digital and Facebook ads for your own branding purposes as well. And so I think this is a really nice way to, again, kind of hack one of the products that we offer and make it work for a different purpose. So if you don't have a property to advertise, or if you really wanted to double down on doing some digital advertising for yourself, I think this is a great way to promote your brand. So instead of adding a listing, essentially you're going to be adding yourself to this ad campaign, and then the same rules are going to apply. You can link this back to the URL of your choice. So perhaps it's your own agent website, or maybe it's your profile page on the Christie's International Real Estate website. You can also geo-target your top markets as well. So if you wanted to target, Naples or wherever you are located specifically, you can do that too. Or if you wanted to promote yourself to some of your feeder markets and you wanted to start targeting, users in Chicagoland or in Ohio or wherever some of your traffic is coming from, that's a great thing to keep in mind as well. So to take advantage of this, any of those things, whether it is for property promotion or for promoting yourself, we are back under that platform tools section in platform, and you're going to click on the resource gallery. So that's going to take you out of platform again and into the resource gallery, which is of course the hub for all of the marketing and advertising resources that are a part of Christie's International Real Estate. There's a quick access button down there at the bottom of the landing page that goes to our co-op ad portal. So you can go ahead and click on that, and that will take you right into our co-op ad portal, which is where you have the option to purchase any of our print advertising, our digital ads, our Facebook ads, or the James Edition ads as well. So if you click on create a new ad, it'll take you here where you have the option to select any of those advertising options that I just mentioned. Let's go through a digital ad so we're going to set up one of those branding ads for you today in the digital media. So it's going to take you to this page after you've selected that. And typically, if you were going to advertise a property, you would go down to the bottom and you would see all of your listings that are live on the Christie site, and you would select one of those, and then you would continue on to build an ad about showcasing that specific listing. So that's super easy. It'll guide you through it. It'll show you all the information that's required. If you wanted to bypass that and hack this so that you can do your own personal advertising, just click on continue. So don't select a listing, just click continue. And it'll take you to this page, and it's going to show up completely blank because we haven't selected a property. So because we haven't selected a property, it hasn't filled any information in here. So all of this is really at our discretion to begin filling out. And so it's all going to say property over here, but don't be confused by that because none of that is really going to show up over on this side. It's going to populate whatever we're putting into these fields. So here for image 1 and image 2, this is where you're going to go in and select your own images to put in. So in this instance, if it's about you and your team, I did the first image as Kimberly's headshot, and the second image is a photo of Kimberly's team. So depending on what those look like, and I'll show you a couple examples of what those ads look like in a second, it's going to populate with her images instead. And then under property name, I put in Kimberly's name. And then location, I mean, you can put anything you want in here. So I said, you're Naples luxury real estate expert. And you can kind of see here that that's what's populating here as well. And then this on this next page is where you're going to come up with your campaign schedule. So you have the opportunity to determine when your campaign will begin. This is also where you can determine where your ad campaign is going to link back to as well. So for these purposes, I went ahead and put in Kimberly's personal profile page from the Christie's International Real Estate website, which is right here. And you can always find that under the specialist menu. And that would link to here. But again, if you have a really great agent site, your own personal website that you want to link to, I think that makes a lot of sense as well. And then below is where you can start targeting major markets for your geo-targeting as well. So again, you have the opportunity to target locally or to other states or other major metro areas as well. So whatever you think makes the most sense for who you're trying to target with this, go ahead and target those options. But I would again say the minimum is 3, keep it to like 3 to 5 or 6, and you're in good shape there. And then if you click on view layouts under this little thumbnail of the ad, this is where you can start to see some of the examples of what the layouts are going to look like. So again, depending on the layout of the websites that these ads run on, the templates are going to show up in different shapes and different designs. So there it is in the billboard format. Here it is in the half-page format. So this is why we require 2 photos, because this one will utilize both of those photos. So it's all going to depend on which website it's on, and that's going to determine what kind of ad it's serving up to its visitors. But right, I mean, I think this is a really fun way. It's Kimberly, your Naples luxury real estate expert. This is a great way to get your name out there, to get your brand out there. A great way to be constantly kind of targeting folks in your market or in your feeder markets, whether you have a listing that you're showcasing or not. And then when you're ready to go, you can just click through the shopping cart and purchase it, and it will begin running on whatever the date is that you said. And with these as well, you can also request the reporting as well. So any of those for the Facebook or digital ads, whether you're running an ad for yourself or for a property, you can always come to me and I can help you pull those reports after the fact. Okay, so that's kind of the overview of what we've got available to you from Christie's International Real Estate specifically to help you boost your online presence. But let's talk a little bit more generally about some of the things that you can do to enhance your online presence. The first, some easy ways to engage with Christie's International Real Estate online. So these are not necessarily resources to take advantage of, but things that I would mention to you that are ways that you can utilize your relationship online and continue to promote it in different and creative ways. The first thing is follow all of the Christie's International Real Estate and Christie's Auction House accounts on Instagram. I have listed kind of the top handles here for you to take a look at, because I think these are really smart, because especially some of those cool, more popular departments that are within the auction house, I think are really fun ones for you to follow, because you can then share what they're posting. So like Christie's Wine or at Christie's Jewels, for instance, they will oftentimes feature significant sales on those accounts, or they will have a reel that's featuring a wine expert from the Christie's auction house, just giving like a 1 or 2 minute talk about a collectible wine or something. And what a great thing, right? For you to just be able to click and share to your social account with your sphere. And that's easy, interesting content. It's the auction house that you're connected with. It's a great way to kind of bring that full circle and share that and make yourself look really good on Instagram as well. You can also follow Christie's International Real Estate on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok for now, on X as well. So you can find us on all of those social platforms as well. Great place to connect with us. And again, to continue sharing and resharing the content that we're posting on all of those places as well. I would also mention that there is a digital version of the Christie's International Real Estate magazine that is available on christiesrealestate.com. That's a great thing that you could also share on your social media channels, share it to your own blog. If you have an email newsletter, you could link to it there. So that's a really easy and beautiful content piece that you can share, and it always lives right on our website. And then the same goes for the Luxury Defined blog as well. So follow and share the blog posts as well. Of course, you can do that from Content Hub, but you can also just go to the Luxury Defined blog on the Christie site and follow and share from there as well. Okay, so social media. Let's talk about some best practices. If you haven't quite fully, gotten both feet into social media and you want to start dipping a toe in, let's talk about some of the ways to do that are a little more approachable. The first piece of advice I would give you is to keep it simple for yourself and consolidate your accounts. So this is a question that actually just came up in a call that I was on with some agents earlier this week, who said, I have a personal account, I have a business account. I feel so overwhelmed about updating both of them, and what should I do? And I would say, if you have both, or if you're considering both and you feel very overwhelmed by that idea, just have one. Just have one that's just for you. I think that's the easiest way for you to be able to continue posting on an ongoing basis and not feel overwhelmed by it. I don't think it hurts to be sharing images of your family or of your travels or of your favorite things in your market, in addition to sharing the images of your new property or your recently sold listing as well. The only exceptions I would say is if you have a lot of small children that you want to keep out of the limelight, that's one thing to keep in mind. Or if you have questionable content on your personal page, I would keep that one separate as well. But other than that, I think, most of you are out there with a very professional demeanor. You are kind of upstanding citizens in the community. So it just makes sense to keep it together, keep it as one cohesive element, because again, your personality and your life and your passions, is what's going to make you appealing and feel real and trustworthy to a lot of the people who are looking to you for real estate advice as well. I would also recommend to create a content calendar. I know that this feels daunting as well, but I think in the long run, it will make you feel much more organized and like you're on top of your game when it comes to social media. So plan out your posts a month at a time. Schedule them ahead when you can, if you have the option to do that. And that doesn't mean you need to plan out your posts and have one or, have one a day or multiple per day. Maybe it's just a couple a week, but plan them out so that you know what you're doing so that you don't get busy and then realize it's been 3 weeks since you posted anything to your social media. You want to make sure that this is consistent and it's constant, and that you don't have these kind of black holes of time where nothing gets posted on your channels. So if you can do that with a calendar, again, even if it isn't a daily thing, it's just a couple a week, start with that. And I think that's a great way to keep you organized and keep you accountable and on track for the posting that you want to do. We also say follow the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your content provides value, 20% is promotional. So your clients, they know that you are a real estate agent, so they don't necessarily need to go to your feed and just see, just listed, just listed, just listed, open house, open house, open house. They want to see other things from you too. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be, fluff content, but you could be adding other things like market stats. You could be adding, a great coffee shop that just opened in your neighborhood that you love. All of that is still value and it's still positioning you as an expert. It's just not sort of being upfront and salesy, but it all still works toward the same goal, right? Of making you appealing, positioning you as an expert, and putting you out there front and center as a resource for your clients. Go local. So I would highly recommend that you take the opportunity to collaborate on posts, maybe with other local businesses, charities that you love, to highlight the connection that you have to your community. That's super important, especially if you want to, really position yourself as a real estate expert in your market. I think it's important to position yourself as someone who is well connected and knows a lot about the community that you live and work in. And go global as well. So I think there's also a great opportunity for you to collaborate on posts with other agents in our network as well. That's a great way to showcase your reach, to gain new followers and appeal to feeder markets. So especially like if you wanted to collaborate on posts or, share listings from agents in Chicago and vice versa, that's a great way to reach out to a target feeder market, right? And for you to collaborate across network with other agents, and really take advantage of the relationships that you have as a part of Christie's International Real Estate. And then I mentioned this earlier too, but when you are creating that content calendar, give Christie's International Real Estate content a place in that calendar as well. So if you're posting, 4 posts a week, maybe one of those every week is a Christie's International Real Estate post. And then the rest of them are local or personal or real estate posts. But I think that if you can plan that in, first of all, as I mentioned, it's easy because we've always got the content here for you to use in C Social or in Content Hub. But it's also a great way to ensure that you're always talking about the really important aspects of the network and the global reach that you have behind you as well. So now let's talk a little bit about managing your online identity. And this is my personal anecdote. So that photo, that's my children. I went to my daughter's school a couple weeks ago for an open house, and she wanted to show us her iPad in her classroom because they're learning Canva and they're learning Pic Collage, and she'd created a bunch of things. And so she pulled out her iPad and I said, "Is that my photo on your background?" And she said, "Oh yeah, I searched your name on Pic Collage and I found pictures of you on the internet. And so I decided to turn you into my background and also made a book about you on Canva." Which is flattering because she's my daughter, but it also is sort of, I think, goes back to the fact that like you're out there, whether you know it or not. People are searching for you, whether you know it or not. So I think it's really important to be managing what you're putting out for the internet to pick up as well and share back to anybody who is searching for you. So one of the first things I would say is check all of your accounts for discrepancies. I think you might be really shocked to find out that you maybe have incorrect contact info in some places. If you've changed brokerages, you may be listed with an old brokerage in some of your accounts. So make sure your brokerage name, your logo, that your headshot is current as well. That if you have any stats or accolades, those are all up to date as well. So I think a good place to start, here's kind of a short list of places that I would check for that information to make sure that it all is consistent and that it is correct. That would be, of course, the John R. Wood website. If you have your own personal website, a Google My Business profile. So Google yourself and see what comes up there as well. Make sure that your details are all correct in your platform account. Check the Christie's website as well. All of you should have a personal profile page on the public facing side of the Christie site as well. All of your social media accounts, and then any other association or membership sites that you are a part of, make sure that you're checking all of those. I know it feels a little daunting. It's kind of a long list, but I mean, the last thing you want is for somebody to find you and see that it's listing you with the brokerage you were with 2 years ago or with a phone number that you no longer have, right? That's missed opportunity. It's messy, and it's business that you could potentially be missing out on. Ask for testimonials. This is a great way to boost your SEO rankings, to add positive content to your online presence. It also is a great reason to check in with your clients as well. So if you ask them to give you, a Google rating, that's fantastic. If they can give you, a testimonial that you can put into your platform account, add into, your DLP or something, or for you to add to one of those great social media templates as well. There's a number of different ways that you can use those testimonials. And I highly recommend that you take the opportunity, even though it's sometimes awkward, to ask for them and make sure you're collecting those. Because what your past clients, what your happy past clients say about you can, again, mean so much more than any of your sales track records. Because again, if your clients can't trust you, they don't want to work with you. And so if trust is the most important thing, then hearing that somebody who worked with you previously trusts you and would recommend you again, that's huge. Also, read your reviews. So go online, check Yelp, check Google My Business, Zillow, anywhere that someone might be reviewing you. If they aren't great, hopefully they're not. Hopefully you're all stellar and you're getting amazing reviews. But if they aren't, if you know who the person is, follow up with them. If you have the opportunity to publicly reply and you can, reply with something tactful or apologetic or whatever it is, I think that's a great motive. In certain circumstances, if it's, untrue, if it's not factual, if it's derogatory, you can request removal from that site. It's a huge pain to go through it, but in certain circumstances, it may be worth it. So keep that in mind. But I think addressing it and replying to it is a really smart way to deal with any negative reviews that you find online as well. All right, so let's finish up with some next steps. First one is download See Social on your smartphone. So we've talked about this before, but the John R. Wood Boomerang code is right here for you. Again, search for See Social in the App Store or the Google Play Store, and then use that code to take advantage of any of the co-branded templates that are available there. Add See Social or Content Hub posting to your weekly calendar. So even if you don't have a content calendar, which I do recommend you have, in your regular calendar, just put a reminder, every Monday or every whatever day is easiest for you to go into See Social or Content Hub and post something from there to your social media accounts. It's very easy. It'll take you just a couple minutes, but it's a great way to remind everybody about your affiliation with Christie's and about all of the great resources you have, and to continue posting amazing content to your feeds. Follow all of those Christie's International Real Estate and Auction House accounts on Instagram. I think you could also go and find some affiliates and agents in your feeder markets to follow too. I think that would be a really smart way, also to start taking advantage of the network and making that feel more tangible to your clients as well, to connect with some of those folks, to maybe collaborate on posts or share their info or have them share your info to their feeds is a great way to make this network feel like it's coming to life, right? And like it's an actual part of your business, because it could be and it should be. Take a few minutes to collect your best high resolution headshots, to collect, your favorite local imagery, listing photos, and save them in a dedicated folder for your branding projects. So, this is for Creative Studio, of course, but also, for any other branding projects. I think it's just really smart to have kind of one central location for all of those go-to images and go-to assets that you need, so that you're not searching through your My Documents all the time at the 11th hour. You have them at the ready, and that makes your life a lot easier when it comes to creating this new content. Also, another plug for my favorite feature of Creative Studio: use the stock images option to create great lifestyle imagery and to kind of branch out beyond property and personal promotion. I think there's a lot of fun and unique ways that you can use that stock imagery to work for yourself as well. Launch a digital or Facebook branding campaign. I think it's a great, easy, quick way to do some personal marketing. And again, you don't have to have a listing. It could just be about you and promoting yourself to your market or to your feeder markets as well. Google yourself. It might be a little bit scary, but I think it's really important to just put your name in there, search it, and see what comes up. You may be surprised, you may not be surprised, but if you are surprised, I think this is a really good opportunity for you to go in there and clean up your accounts, to update all of your information, and make sure that what is out there is what you want people to know about you, and more than anything, that it's accurate, right? And then join us for our next training, the first Thursday of next month. And that's it for today.
Great stuff, Ann. This is really good.
Thank you. Okay, any questions? It looks like someone said, why is Facebook different than basic digital? I'm assuming that question was about the cost. And I think it's just because of the way that those ads are structured, that because they're running in different places, we have some different options and some different costs for running those ads. So that's the difference there. The audiences are going to be different, of course. For Facebook, it's only going to be Facebook users, and Facebook users who have expressed interest in luxury real estate or who have searched for luxury real estate. For the digital banner advertising, it's going to be for anyone who has searched for real estate or luxury real estate related terms, is who it's going to target. Another great question: if you have your info set up in platform, will that carry over into the ad info and the Christie's International Real Estate Marketing apps? Yes, all that information should carry over. When you get into things like the digital and Facebook ads, like the co-op ad portal, it will pull any of the information that is in a property ad. However, it will still prompt you to potentially edit any of that information. So you will just want to give it a once over and make sure that your name and your phone number and all of that is showing up the way that you want it to. But yes, essentially anything else that's connected to platform should be carrying over and have the proper information.
Oh, and adding to that profile in platform is important for you to fill in,
Yes.
because it goes into not just marketing tools, but several other tools within platform. So it's a once and done thing. Just get that profile filled in, get your social links in there, your website, your bio, all that once and done. Maybe check it every 6 months, make sure it's up to date, but it's all ready to go. Some of it goes out to the Christie's website as well. So that's a critical part of your updating your online presence.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good point, Mike. That profile in platform is a very central location for a lot of your information that's going to feed out to different places. So in your DLP, to the Christie's International Real Estate website. So that is a really good central place to start in updating all that information. Any other questions?
Well, we're waiting to see if there's more questions. A couple of things you said, Ann, that really spoke to me. Ask for the testimonial. This is big. I mean, we have a system, as you know, called Testimonial Tree, and this is a centralized location where you can put your testimonials. Don't forget to also get them into your platform profile. But I can tell you as an agent, we've had that system for a long time. So when I was an agent, we had it, and I was not asking for testimonials. And I stopped and I looked one day and I realized I thought I was doing a great job for my customers. And I actually did the math. Like 40% of them were leaving me a testimonial. And I realized, oh my God, I'm not asking for it.
Mhm.
So you just ask for it. You just do it. You say, hey, we're going to be closing soon. By the way, you're going to get this email. It's going to look for a testimonial from you. That would just mean a lot to me. It would help my business. If you wouldn't mind just taking a minute and offer something about your experience. And that 40%, you ready? Went to 90%.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's quantifiable. It actually happened.
And I think anybody who has happily worked with you would happily do a testimonial for you as well. And I think the more that you can prompt those good ones too is really important, because I think what we always find as well is that the people who are the most willing to give a testimonial or to give a review unsolicited are unhappy people. And so I think the more you can push out that great stuff, that's super important, because then you always have that kind of balance of the great things that people are saying about you.
And something too about Googling yourself. So, you kind of have a choice here. The internet on its own can tell your story, or you can take control of what the
Yes.
internet is saying. So Google yourself, look at it. You're going to find profiles that you started years ago and just forgot to complete or update or whatever. So just get in there, get that stuff updated, get your bio on these profiles. Make sure you're using the same photo across all your various internet profiles, whether it be Zillow, Realtor.com, your website, social media, all these things, because otherwise you're marketing two different people if you're using two different photos. It's not that hard to do. It's a matter of just kind of getting in there. And by the way, we've already started some workshops in some of the offices, classes. Alyssa Pipes, our assistant manager, is going to be doing some more, and we'll have it here at Galleria on updating your online presence.
That's great.
We'll make it easy for you.
That's real, and that's so smart. And I can't tell you all how many times, we'll get an email from an agent and I can't exactly tell where they're from. And so I will Google them and I will find profiles or posts for them online at 3 different brokerages or something like that. So it's often, to Mike's point, maybe it's somewhere you worked 5 years ago, but if you never deactivated that account, or if you started it and never finished it, and you were with Sotheby's before, it's still out there somewhere. And so I think it's really important to clean that up, because, I can figure it out, but as a client, I'm going to be very confused and may just potentially give up at a certain point. Someone also said lots of great ad opportunities and where to start. I mean, I would start at some of the easiest stuff. I would start with See Social. I would start with Content Hub. If you want to have a little more fun, go into Creative Studio and start creating some things for yourself, because that's all free. It's free and it's easy. And that's, I think, a really nice way to start kind of easily incorporating some of those things into your social presence, without having to kind of go full in on a paid ad campaign. I think there's just a lot of great stuff that you can use there without even having to pay for it. That's really designed for you to plug and play, essentially. So that's where I would start, is like with a See Social or Content Hub for sure. Any other questions we can answer?
Looks like you covered it, Ann.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And I'll send all this stuff to Mike, the recording and the slides, and hopefully we'll see you all next month.
Thanks again, Ann.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.